Good evening, Mount Juliet. It's Sami Kincaid with Officer Caltabiano, and we are driving around Providence. We wanted to just give you a little bit of an update on road conditions. Even though roads are looking a lot better and there's a ton of cars out now, you still need to be safe because the big thing now is black ice. And we have found quite a bit of icy road conditions around the Providence area. So we were just going to take you along as we drive through Providence. And so I'm going to turn it around right now so you can see it on Providence Parkway.
Check with London Fire, see if they got a call the gas.
So as you can see, we're on Providence Parkway right now. And there's quite a few cars driving around. But we were behind a truck earlier that you pointed out.
The truck actually spun out right over here and started spinning out. So definitely be careful if you're trying to go out and get groceries or whatnot, because you don't want to end up in the snow.
So you can see it definitely is coming in patches. And with the cold temperatures, the roads are going to freeze because it did melt a lot of the snow today. And this is about right where that truck started to spin out, right here in front of Deerfield.
You can see that it's still packed down and kind of causing a little slick conditions.
Go ahead.
And as we see that truck passing in front of us, just want to give another reminder, if you are getting out and driving, I don't know if you guys saw that snow on the top of that truck, but please, please, please make sure you're clearing off the top of your vehicles, because with the snow melting today, that snow that's directly on the roof of your vehicle, it's going to turn to liquid and then eventually turn back to ice, and then it'll slide off of your vehicle once you start hitting higher speeds. And especially on the interstate, it can be very dangerous and will slide off and hit that car behind you. And WT Chief Tyler Chandler was talking a lot about how in the past he's seen where that has actually injured the people in the car behind them with facial injuries and going straight through the windshield. So please make sure you're clearing off your car if you are getting out on the roadways, just to make sure you're not injuring those around you as well. You've probably seen that coming from up north too.
I did. I came from Boston and it was a big mess down there, and trying to prevent that down here, the best way is just to clear off your car, especially with the influx of temperature. You don't want it to ice over. It makes it 10 times harder to clean off.
So right now you can see we're right next to Ascension Medical Group, and the roads are, it's pretty white still across the road, about to turn onto Belinda Parkway.
You can see that even the cruisers climbing over these snow piles a little bit.
And Public Works, they have been out working extremely hard trying to clear those secondary roads all today. But with the low temperatures, it's really hard for anything that they're doing to be fully effective. But they have been out plowing, so you will notice a difference, but you still need to be careful because there are quite a few patches. You can see right here, you can see the white really down the middle and on the sides.
Especially going down hills too, you want to make sure that you're not slamming on your brakes, because just because one side looks clear, the other side is still pretty icy. I feel a little bit of ice slippage on my tires right now.
If you're just joining us, welcome, and I hope that you're having a great night so far. You're doing a ride along to see what road conditions are looking like now that quite a bit of snow has melted, and the big concern now is that melted snow turning into ice, turning into black ice on the roadways. Today, I did a couple of ride-alongs, and that was the big difference in today's calls. It wasn't just disabled vehicles that were stuck. It was more crashes today. It seems like a lot more cars are slipping around.
Yes, when I was coming in, we had somebody stuck on the freeway. And as always, if you do find yourself stuck, we're always here to help. But definitely make sure if you're going to go out, you're prepared to kind of drive in the snow and the powder and potentially face those black ices like Sammy was talking about, because it can be very dangerous as you don't often see it.
See if anyone has any questions. Tracy, right now we are on Belinda Parkway. Driving down Belinda Parkway. We just left the Providence area. We went back behind Providence and then turned on to Belinda. And something else to note, as we were just passing that car that was in the driveway, because we've talked about this a few times, you can see the roadways a lot better now than you could yesterday or the day before. But it's still kind of hard to tell where roadways start and end, especially because there's so many tire tracks from cars going off the roadway,
Exactly.
being stuck. So just make sure you're looking out, because it is still pretty difficult to see where roads start and end.
You can see right here the change of the pavement is showing some ice, and kind of you see the dusting and the change in the color indicates that there's going to be some ice, or it's going to ice over as the temperatures continue to drop from that meltage, like Sammy said. You definitely want to be careful and kind of make sure you're kind of watching out, paying attention to the change in pavement. That's a good sign to realize that maybe there's ice up ahead.
Good. Yeah, we got one. The road has been great. Roadway, both there to south, south turn.
See if we get any more questions. Have roads been salted? Yes. Public Works has put down a ton of salt. I know last night into this morning they put down another 75 tons, but that was just putting that salt on top of the salt that they had already done. And they went through again today. I'm sorry, I don't have the updated numbers, but they went through again today on secondary roads with plows and salting those roads again as well. Yeah, no, the roads are still a little tough right now. Will side roads get plowed at any point by the city? There are some side roads that are getting plowed right now. They're really working on those secondary roads, and then once the secondary roads are in a little bit better condition, then they'll start moving in to some other roads like neighborhoods and whatnot. So they're kind of working down the list, making sure the main roads are cleared, then secondary, and then they'll get into some of those more side roads after that. Are y'all headed back to Mount Juliet Road? No, right now we are headed towards, this will put us out on Rutland
Yeah,
Way.
we'll be
Yep.
going right on Rutland by the elementary school.
This is why I'm the passenger. You do not want me giving directions, even though I did grow up here. So even just here on the side, you can see it's a lot of slush, and that slush with the cold temperatures, it will turn to ice, and that's what you really have to look out for.
Tell you what, the kids must be loving these hills though. Lots of sledding for them.
Absolutely. I think there were 6 sledding reports yesterday. I got to participate in one of them. And it was actually right here. It was a lot of fun. So right now we are passing Rutland Elementary.
Good.
You can see what the roads look like right now in front of Rutland Elementary. Again, you can see the difference in the coloring on the road right here in front of Rutland.
Yep, cool. Just come. Yes.
Oh, there's some slutters over there. Speaking of.
You're right there.
You can even feel it driving, the
Yeah.
different levels of ice underneath the powder. It's pretty bumpy, and this road's not normally this bumpy. So again, if you're driving these roads, just try and be mindful of that. Give yourself some stopping space.
Now passing Shadow Creek Townhomes. Even just from this side of the road to the other side of the road. You were mentioning that earlier, but just because one side looks clear, not too far away is some ice patches. So
Exactly. Even going up that hill, Sammy, I could feel the car slipping a little bit. Guys, please make sure if you're on hills, you're not accelerating too fast or braking too hard.
we're saying. How are the main roads not in Belinda City? We can head that way towards Mount Juliet Road, so you can see what Mount Juliet Road looks like, and head towards Lebanon Road, so you can see what those roads are looking like. Those are going to be in a lot better condition than some of these side roads, secondary roads. But we have still seen quite a few crashes off of.
We actually had one just a few moments ago that we had a Penske truck stuck in the roadway, so even trucks are still getting stuck.
And this morning, whenever I first came in, there were two semis that had crashed on two separate crashes, and everyone was fine, but it was on Golden Bear. I know that that's been kind of a problem area today too. Andrea, I'll see if I can. We have some photos of what the secondary roads are. So I'll see if we can get those posted to try to clear that up, because I know a couple of you have asked about the secondary roads. Gonna turn it back around so you guys can see.
You can see in the middle of the roadway the water and the ice starting to form.
Also, I know if Andrea, after this, if you wanted to look at, there was a live video we did on Mount Juliet Police and City, on all of the social media platforms. It was myself and Tyler Chandler earlier, and we did post the map on that live earlier to show what those secondary roads were and exactly where Public Works was going to be plowing and putting salt down. But if you think of secondary roads, I guess the best way to describe it is not Mount Juliet Road or Lebanon Road. The state really takes care of those roads, and then Public Works will be taking care of, if you think about the next biggest roads after those main roads. And then it goes, once those roads are taken care of, then they'll move to the next biggest roads.
So like Belinda Parkway,
Yes,
what we
correct.
just were, Providence Trail, some of those major roads.
So we're now turning left onto Providence Parkway. We're now passing Jonathan's is on our left. And Kroger is on our right. We're now at the Mount Juliet Road intersection, turning right onto Mount Juliet Road.
You can see right there that we just hit a patch of ice. So you guys gotta be careful. That was a perfect example.
You probably saw with the camera just thinking
Yeah.
a little shaky.
A little shaky because the ice right turning onto a Mount Juliet Road right there. We just hit a little bit.
So we're now on Mount Juliet Road, and you can still see some patches, some color variation on the roadways. Right there, I don't know if you were able to see it on the video, but it looked like a car may have had some tires spin out in that darker spot on the road. And so as you can see just then, I don't know if you can see this far right lane, but there's quite a bit of snow piled into that lane. So
Making it pretty impossible to travel through.
yeah, and so it's a pretty quick merge whenever you're getting off of I-40 coming onto Mount Juliet Road. But it's great to see so many businesses back open today.
It's pretty exciting. I know for the last 2 days everyone's been kind of hunkered down and now getting back into it safely, of course.
Progress, go up in the wall, no assault. And if I take the girlfriend to take it and play things and putting them outside.
So we are again on Mount Juliet Road.
See if we can see. If you look down to the right, is where that truck is stuck down there. You can see our lights down there.
And that's right next to, we're passing right now, as you can see, First Baptist Church. And as you get, I feel like as you get going further on Mount Juliet Road, you can see it's definitely a lot more clear than back towards the Providence area. But there's still, you can still see a ton of color variation. So you still need to be careful though.
Definitely lots of color variations going on right now.
Let's see if anyone has any questions. We have 6 trucks, Andrea, that are working in Mount Juliet. They sometimes work as a tandem. You may have seen us show some videos of them working as a tandem on Mount Juliet Road. Even though it is a state road, they were working Mount Juliet Road to try to make sure that this road was cleared. And then they kind of break off and plow or salt those side roads. Devonshire never seems to get attention. I will say, I went down Devonshire this morning and it's still rough. I do not recommend driving down it, but it was in much better condition than I had expected it to be. It was drastically different than what it looked like yesterday, but still not. Would not recommend driving down it if you
It's a
don't have
rather
to.
large hill.
Yeah. As somebody that grew up in Willoughby Station, it's not one I would try to conquer right now. So we are now approaching the Division intersection, currently on Mount Juliet Road. And it really seems like it's in patches. And I think that's why it's probably been so difficult for people to drive, because they'll start accelerating thinking that, oh, everything's all right. And then
They'll hit a patch like this where you never know.
just past City Hall. Somebody earlier on the live was asking about the mail service. I just saw a mail truck with its lights on leaving the post office. I don't think that they're probably delivering mail right now, but probably getting off shift. We're now passing Grace Church on Mount Juliet Road. As you can see, again, another spot. It looked like it was getting better, and then that spot just really sneaks up on you.
It looked very clear coming over that little hill, and now we're right back into that kind of different colored pavement and some ice in the middle. See ice right there perfectly.
Let's see if we're getting any questions. We have. Can you tell? Can tell you're out of the Providence area. The video, the video quality is a lot better. Have you seen Central Pike by chance?
I have not.
And I have not seen Clearview as well. And Andrea, I know that Mount Juliet actually has quite a bit for the size of Mount Juliet. The public works team, they're actually pretty heavily equipped for a city of Mount Juliet size. Um, and it's probably not what you saw in Boston, but for the size of Mount Juliet and the kind of weather that Mount Juliet is used to seeing, this is definitely out of the ordinary to see this extreme of weather.
It is.
So 6 trucks is quite a bit. Why hasn't Lebanon Road and Mount Juliet been plowed? So Lebanon Road is a state road. So that is the state that would be handling that road. We will show you, we're almost to Lebanon Road, so we'll show you what it looks like here shortly. So for tomorrow's weather, it's kind of, it seems like it's kind of shifted a little bit over time. Could possibly get some freezing rain. It sounds like it's going to be a mix, which is why you really have to look out on the roadways, because with that mix, you could really start to see some roads ice over. Belinda Parkway and Rutland, they are being worked on more. Those are some of those secondary streets that Public Works is working on. Somebody asked, how fast are we going?
We're going about 30.
We're going about 30.
I'm not trying to go too fast on these roads.
Somebody said, oh my goodness, KC, love you, girly. Anything with Belinda Parkway. We were showing Belinda earlier. It's still got quite a bit of, you can tell there's quite a bit of precipitation still on it. Snow, ice, a pretty, definitely a mixture on those roads. We're turning right now onto Lebanon Road, though. You can see Publix in front of us. Turning right onto Lebanon Road.
Kind of heading towards Golden Bear to give you a little view at that as well.
So as mentioned, Lebanon Road is a state road. So is Mount Juliet Road, but the public work crews, they did work quite a bit of Mount Juliet Road, which is probably why you see a little bit of a difference having Mount Juliet's public works crews and also the state crews working that road. So as you can see on the bridge, it does get quite a bit more wide on the roadways. So right now we're on Lebanon Road at the Parkland Drive intersection. And just in the slow lane, and you can see the difference in the two lanes. That red truck up there, the tires started to spin under it. So again, even if you do have a vehicle that you would think normally does well in this kind of weather, even those vehicles are still struggling. It's quite the difference from the slow lane to the fast lane. So just make sure you're taking it slow and be careful. And if you don't have to get out, don't get out.
Stay the best.
stay warm inside. So right now we're headed towards Golden Bear. We had some people asking about Golden Bear, so we're going to show you that. It really seems like the road's more wet through here.
It definitely seems like that. The only concern with the wetness is temperatures are dropping.
Does it show you a temperature on there?
It's 19 degrees out, according to my car. You can see this little path to get onto Golden Bear Gateway. It's still pretty covered, so definitely want to make sure you're being careful on the little turns and side roads still.
So we're now on Golden Bear, headed towards Mount Juliet High School. Will soon be on our left. I also saw somebody asking about South Green Hill Road, and part of that road is actually divided. I heard Deputy Chief, he was talking about this earlier. So Public Works, they will be treating half of South Green Hill Road, and it's really the area that is in front of Willoughby Station and Mount Vernon Estates headed towards Division. But then once you get past Mount Vernon Estates, that does turn to county. So that is two different agencies working
Correct.
that
That's
road.
way different jurisdictions, and it's kind of finding that balance of how to treat the roads between them. And our Public Works is working really hard. I can tell you these roads are a lot better than when it first started on Sunday.
So you can see how this road looks in comparison to the neighborhood roads. So once these secondary roads are treated a little bit more, that's whenever you'll start to see some side roads that are leading into neighborhoods start to get some treatment. But they are trying to work on the roads that see the most traffic and then work their way down from there. So again, we are on Golden Bear right now. That is Mount Juliet High School in front of us. And that parking lot looked like you could go ice skating just there.
It definitely did. Tennessee wants to play some ice hockey. These parking lots are perfect.
So we're now passing Jackson Hills on our left. So you can see what that turn lane looks like and intersection. You just want to make sure you're being really careful going through these intersections. You can see a car went off right there. It looks like they were trying to turn left.
And you can see, Sammy, even in a four-wheel cruiser, I'm still going well below the speed limit. That's really to the key of it. If you want to go out, you have to go out. Make sure you're really paying attention and not speeding.
You could feel it just then.
Yep.
Drift a little.
Drifted us a little bit to the right. And you can see how the shoulders are still pretty covered, causing the roadways to be a little bit narrower than normal. So just make sure you're kind of paying attention to where you're at.
Again, right now we're on Golden Bear. Like she said, you could see on the shoulders, and now it's coming all the way over into the lane. But then you have that from where snow has been plowed, and I can only imagine if you hit that shoulder a little bit.
You can see right here, somebody went through
Yep.
it.
That's
It's gonna drag you in.
gonna be pretty tough on your car.
Couple more tracks over here from sliding.
And you can see it coming out even in the fast lane too. You can see it has a little bit of a shine to it. Again, we are on Golden Bear right now, headed towards I-40. See if anyone has any questions. Hi, Hannah. Belinda, Parkway going on I-40 from Providence beside McDonald's. Um, Belinda was, it had definitely some rough patches on it. The Providence area looked like it was on Mount Juliet Road. That was probably the worst area of Mount Juliet Road by the Providence area, up until about whenever you got to McDonald's and over the overpass. It started to clear up a little bit, but there were definitely still quite a few patches. So make sure you're still being very careful there. So now we're turning by Amazon.
We're gonna go down East Division to kind of give you a look at another one of those side roads, kind of main road.
See what else there is. Oh, DJ, please be careful while you're picking up your son. It's definitely. Have you slept the past 3 days? We have not slept much, DJ.
Definitely working hard to keep you guys safe.
A lot of people asking about Belinda. It's still looking a little rough over on Belinda Parkway. Quite a few snowy and icy patches on Belinda. But we are now on East Division.
I will say Public Works have treated this road very well. You can see that it's pretty clear, but as we were saying before, there's still icy patches you want to watch out for.
There's so many factors that they're having to treat right now, especially with the snow melting and turning to water to eventually ice, and whenever they're plowing, it's going to the side of the road, and eventually that water is going to have to go somewhere, and then it comes back onto the road. So they're fighting a lot of factors right now.
I know a lot of drains are being covered too, so the water's not moving where it needs to be. So there's definitely a lot going on that our Public Works team is working very hard to combat and make these roads as safe as possible for you guys.
It's a team of 12 of them that have been really working around the clock. They started at 7 a.m. on Sunday, and they have yet to stop taking turns. They have 8 or 9 air mattresses at their shop, and they have some family members that have been cooking for them there at the shop. They have quite literally not left work, working around the clock.
You can see this car kind of on the snowbank itself. Definitely want to make sure to not go speeding by disabled cars because they might be still be in there, but we are working around to try and get them off the roadway and make it as safe as possible for travel.
So again, right now we are on East Division, coming up on Mount Juliet Road. We're about to pass Clemens Road on our right. I hope this has helped a lot of people. If you're deciding to get in the car or stay home, I hope it's helped a lot of people, informed a lot of people on what the roadways are looking like. They are looking a lot better. They have improved drastically in the last day, but it is still quite a few snowy, icy patches out there. All right. So we've done really a full circle.
Yeah, pretty much
So
full circle.
I hope that you all stay safe. Please send in snowy pictures. Some people have been sending in snowy pictures today of what you've been able to see in Mount Juliet. Please send those in. We have loved seeing those today. So send those in. Stay safe, and we'll go live again tomorrow at some point to give you another update on road conditions and incident reports and everything that's going on. But I hope you all have a great rest of the night.